Hello everybody, we're doing things a little bit differently for today's video. The gay of the day is going to be Agatha Christie. I believe this was a trans woman. I don't have a video, of course. Well, maybe there is, I just didn't look. But I do have a picture, and mostly it's not from the pictures or videos, it's from her writing, because when I was in jail, I read a lot of Agatha Christie books because that was what was available in the little jail library. And I noticed just from the writing, I could do this a lot of times. I could, my little gaydar, my impeccable gaydar can go off on writing. So I'm going to talk about this a little bit later. Well, actually, what am I doing first? Okay, so I'm going to talk about this in a minute. It has to do with my interest in gay men, their relationship, and their love of poisoning people to death. It's like what they like to do. So it makes sense that Agatha Christie, a closeted gay man or a trans woman, is really writes a lot about death by poison. And I was very interested in all that, reading all that, and getting on top of it while in jail. So today's Wordle was UNDID, and I did it this morning before I walked to work, and then as I walked to work, I filmed this, and I'm just going to show it, and then we'll work from here. So actually, it's very important at the very beginning of this video to say the theme of this video is two things. This is for Whtiney Cummings, who I was worried about, and I felt like she was coming undone yesterday in my, when I was talking about in my posts online at YouTube. In my posts, I was thinking she was coming undone, and apparently my Wordle muses picked up on that, or maybe they're just saying that a lot of people are coming undone over the Epstein files. Trump just said, bye, forget about him, and everybody's just coming undone over that. So I'm worried about Whtiney Cummings. Also, it's boost security because I have my Wordle muses I worry about. Of course, I worry about Trump, my Trump muse. He's my muse, my boss. And I worry about, of course, boost security, but that also involves security for the WNBA people. And most recently, I was worried about Whtiney Cummings. Okay, these are all my kind of muses I'm worried about right now. So I'm really worried about her, and also worried about, not worried, but I'm going to report in case the threat to her is like, death by poisoning, or by the gay. I'm worried about the gay Nazis. It could be death by poisoning instead of shooting, and that's what today's theme is. And I'm going to talk to Whtiney Cummings about this if that's her fear. I'm not sure what's going on, but and I didn't think about that until today when I went into work, and one of my coworkers had a heart attack and died, and I believe it could be death by poisoning, by heart attack. And I don't think it's a coincidence that he died, so I'm going to say something about that in this video. So those are the two things. So pay attention. It's not really a fun video today, but I just want to get this out there, okay? Let's do this. His name was Sam Brown, by the way, and I think there should be an autopsy ordered on him for possible death by poisoning. Okay, that's all. Let's just do this, and it's at the risk of being fired or getting into some trouble at Lowe's. It's fine. Let's just do it. Let's go. This morning, I'm thinking I'm going to start doing the videos in the morning, but today I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm going to do it when I get back from work because I just don't have any room on my camera. Let's just play it and go. Hello, everybody. Happy Monday. This is me crossing the street. Happy Monday. I'm playing it at 1.5 speed because it's just I speak so slowly. It's like a sloth. And let's just do it. July 14th, 2025. I'm walking to work. Takes me about 15 minutes, and that's fine. It's a good time to maybe do my video of the day, and then we'll see. So today's Wordle was undone, or undid, UNDID, and I think I'm going to turn it into undone, because so I'm going to say undone. A lot of people are coming undone over the Epstein file thing, and I always assumed it was just a 4D chess move. I mean, I don't know. I always assumed it was a 4D chess move, and there's a lot of creepy... When I say 4D chess move, I mean a 4D chess move by Trump. So I never really paid too much attention to it. or thought it was real.
Stuff going on, but it's not as black and white as you think. And also, this stuff will start to get solved. Now, Whtiney Cummings was a comedian who was seriously, she was seriously coming undone a little bit about this, not even jokingly. You could tell she was off a little bit and was seriously angry about the Epstein files. And it upset her. So, I hope she does okay. It could have triggered something, her childhood, very traumatic, kids of alcoholism. And it wasn't, anyway, I don't know. I like to joke around a little bit with the Wordle, but this one might be a little more serious after I saw that last night with our Whtiney Cummings, so we'll figure out. I don't know what to say about it except when I sued a pharmaceutical company over 30 years ago, I was amazed and had my eyes open very early in life at how the simplest fact, like there was a scientific fact that was physically impossible. It was just physically impossible, and that's what the pharmaceutical company, that's how I caught them. They actually were behaving very badly, but they reported a physically impossible fact in a paper. And I thought, following all the rules of publication, my little naive head thought, okay, all I have to do is request the data. There was a rule that said if there's some kind of controversy, scientific controversy, you request the data from the publisher.
Okay, so then my camera ran out of space, which is fine because I was almost at work. And I spent the next 2 or 3 minutes describing how, Whtiney Cummings is a comedian, and in order to be a good comedian and a funny comedian, you have to start with a truth, a grain of truth. Otherwise, it's not funny. Whatever you say has to have a grain of truth, and then you make jokes out of it. And if you don't get at a truth of any kind, you're just not going to be funny. So that's why she really focuses on. She's constantly like, "What's the truth? What's the truth?" And what I was trying to explain to her was, you just can't get at the truth right now. Just take it easy. Try and make fun of trying to get at the truth, maybe. I don't know what you can do about your work, but it's really hard to get at the truth now because I couldn't even, 30 years ago I'm doing this, and the paper should have been rejected immediately just from the rules. But it was like the tip of the iceberg, and I'm still going at it. I'm still trying to get them to retract this fact that is not true, and it's causing all sorts of problems because people try to build on that. And this is science, and this is a pharmaceutical company. So, I learned a long time ago, and it's not always going to be that way. And and that is a scientific fact. Now, can you imagine trying to get at the truth for journalism and global warming and all this stuff? It's just really hard to get at the truth. So just hang in there. It's going to get better, but I get your stress. And then and that's where that video was heading, and it cut off because now I don't care about that. Boo security is, I just want everybody to survive the summer, and I don't care about your career. I would prefer that you just stop doing stand-up comedy for the rest of the summer. I think I think you're going to be up on stage or whatever. I just want you to survive the summer. And I want Kelly Clarkson to survive the summer. I want the WNBA, Caitlin Clark people to survive the summer without dying. Okay, because that's my main concern, and I forgot about that. And I went on trying to tell you how to find the truth and how to joke about, I understand you are, okay, let me just tell you a truth I found out a long time ago, is you are supported mostly by the religion swamp. Because of CNN, hey, listen, Whtiney Cummings, okay? I watched that CNN special you did on New Year's Day, and you bashed every other swamp but the religion swamp. And I said, okay, there's no way she can say any of this unless she's supported by one of the swamps, and I determined it was the religion swamp. The religion swamp is the last one to implode right now. They are imploding. That means you are going to have some problems. They are imploding, and same with Kelly, because it's the tobacco and religion swamp that's imploding, and she's having tobacco religion swamp problems. And maybe it's the same with you. No, you're fully religion swamp. They are imploding. There's going to be all sorts of problems with the gay men. And I don't know how else to tell you guys. The only way to do this is to get rid of the gay men around you. I don't understand. There's no other way to have security. There's no other way to get forward in life. And it's really hard to do that. I understand where you're at. I'm just trying to tell you, I don't care. I just want you to stay alive. I don't care about your comedy right now. Too much. But I did suggest what you do is you say, damn it, Trump, you're trying to support him. Okay, and he's going to come through for you finally because everybody is alienating you because you seem to be supporting him and you're trying maybe to find the good in him. And then he comes out and does this Epstein thing, and just every single person in your circle is now attacking you because of the Epstein thing, because of Trump. And that's, I'm sorry about that, but that's just, Trump has a very sharp focus in mind. He doesn't care about your career. Maybe he's hopefully coming to keep you safe. When I asked him, just keep her safe. But as far as your career right now, he's not going to, I better not do this way because it might make, it might make it harder for Whtiney Cummings to do her stand-up comedy. It's just, he doesn't give a flying hoot about that. He might not even care about our lives. I mean, I understand that because he is neck deep in this stuff. He's in the middle of a war and he's doing stuff, and I'm just giving him leeway all over the place. Okay, I'm not going to start defending him to all these people that don't even deserve it. I know you're different and you're trying to, you have a career, and so does Kelly, and you guys got to get on. But I can't help you other than saying, just try not to bash him if you can for long term. You don't have to support him or anything like that, but try not to bash him too much unless, the religion swamp is forcing you to do so. Okay, so that being said, let's get on to the poison that I was interested in. So the reason I have her up, Agatha, him, it's a he, gay man, is their relationship to poison. So poisons that can induce a heart attack or a cardiac arrest, and this is what I'm most interested in today because a coworker just died right. I'm going to go over that in a minute. It was very traumatic today for everybody, but and I don't think it was a coincidence, and I'll tell you why. And just let me get through this, okay? So poisons that can induce a heart attack or cardiac arrest, and it's like arsenic, cyanide, foxglove. All these things are mentioned in all the books I was reading, Agatha Christie books. So what I determined was, I don't know if I said this already, I don't care. There was an original, I already said that, there was an original, I already went through that. But I had all this stuff, and I was very interested in, before I did the Bible work, and what happened was the connection, I had a connection between poisoning and tobacco swamp and the shootings and gays. I had this stuff even before going to jail. I just became extremely interested once I determined that Agatha Christie was a gay person writing this, and I started to write down all the ways that her people were killing people with poisons. And if you recall, that video that I haven't put up yet, but I think I will because I keep coming back to this same video. It's like 20 minutes long, and it might get me suspended from YouTube. But after I get this out, maybe tonight or tomorrow, I'm finally going to put up this video because I'm tired of referring back to it. I think it has a lot of information in it, and I think I should put it up at YouTube, okay? But if you remember that video, I was talking about Jason Aldean and all the cigarette ads he did, and it's connected to his mass shooting in Vegas.
Back at dinner for a good minute. Smoke rolling out the window. Smoke rolling out the window. Smoke rolling out the window. Something about lighting up Margaret.
Okay, and then I went straight. Okay, so I went straight into Lady Gaga from this, okay? And this is... So I went straight into some Lady Gaga cigarette ads, starting in 2006. Let's go.
I got my head set, because you're in between my sets. I light another of cigarettes. I light another of cigarettes. I'm stopping my...
Okay, by the way, the #1 method of murder for gay Nazi tobacco swamp. Oh, I wasn't supposed to put that up in any of these videos, but it's coming up anyway, is poison. And here she is in her video for Paparazzi, a tobacco ad. It's her #1 tobacco ad. It's probably third in the whole world after Rolling Stone's Satisfaction and Alanis Morissette's Ironic. I think Paparazzi would probably be #3 for cigarette ads. Including victims of mass shootings being poisoned on the way to the hospital. So this was in that video. So I'm into poisons, mass shootings, gays, and this is in her video for Paparazzi. Okay, so let's get on. I'm just making connections between poisoning, gays, mass shootings, murder, all this stuff. So the thing about the poison-induced heart attacks is they're very easy to do. And if we just made a law that said everybody who dies of a heart attack automatically gets a toxicology report to see if they have died of a poison-induced heart attack, which would be arsenic, cyanide, those two, and then you saw the ones I underlined. All of them induce heart attacks, and it's very difficult to determine between the two. For instance, cyanide like diffuses and goes away. Like if you don't get the toxicology on that within hours of the death, you might lose the evidence that it's a cyanide poisoning. So cyanide's probably and they rarely do, even when they request poisoning and toxicologies, they don't have any of the poisons that were mentioned in Agatha Christie books. I mean, it's on purpose. It would be very simple in this day and age to not have deaths by poison. And I bet you as soon as you make a law that says every heart attack must have a toxicology report, immediately a heart attack induced, like a death by heart attack, and the heart attack rate would go down by half in the country. I'm almost positive of this. It's almost like excluding mass shootings deaths in life insurance, and if you exclude life insurance for mass shooting deaths, then all of a sudden all the mass shootings go away. I mean, it's stuff like this. Or remember I said make sure the police departments have insurance for police shooting deaths, and then all of a sudden there's no more police shooting deaths. It's just, if you get rid of the motivation, and I'm sure there are so many deaths, and I'm positive Justice Scalia, he died in 2016 of a heart attack. They didn't even do, okay, so let's do this. Reportedly, Justice Scalia of the United States Supreme Court died in January 2016. His death certificate listed the cause of death as myocardial infarction, a heart attack. Although the county judge who completed the death certificate noted he died of natural causes. Like, what the hell is this? No autopsy was performed. A Supreme Court justice dies and no autopsy report. I mean, can you imagine? I'm sure they did one, and then, they did one. It's just not official. They had to have done one or something, or made sure that one wasn't done. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. But no autopsy was performed, and the death certificate was not released to the public. And in Texas, it takes 25 years. So this is all, he died by a poison-induced heart attack. 1,000% certain of this. All right, he was murdered. Why? Well, Scalia, I said, live by tobacco, die by tobacco. All right? So Scalia from New Jersey, the gay Nazi tobacco swamp capital of the world, and he's the second Supreme Court justice from Trenton, New Jersey. The other one, he's not gay, but the other one is Alito, who is gay, and he's still on the Supreme Court. He's the last gay. He's a conservative guy, just like this guy, but they're from Trenton. They are bought and paid for by the tobacco swamp, and the whole reason Scalia was put on the Supreme Court was to protect the tobacco swamp. And this, his worst, it's not even his worst opinion. It's possibly one of the worst Supreme Court written opinions in history. From when we briefed this in law school. I was in law school from like 2013 to 2017. I'm sure he got the brief because I am very good, and it eventually made its way to him, and I just tore it to pieces. In Gonzalez v. Rake, I forget how to pronounce it, he is writing on and on about how this one person growing a marijuana plant for personal use violated the inverse commerce clause. Okay, people, lawyers, I'm just not going to go into it, but it's just the worst pro-tobacco. It was all pro-tobacco, and it made sure that marijuana remained illegal for another decade at least. Okay, it remained a class 3 drug or whatever, like up there with heroin, while meanwhile we're all smoking is 10,000 times less healthy, 10,000 times more addictive, all these things, and yet, that's perfectly legal. You could advertise, whatever. It was a tobacco swamp bought and paid for. That guy was put on the Supreme Court for that ruling. Tobacco swamp. But he changed his mind. I believe he did. So, Scalia's death clouds U.S. Supreme Court decision in Colorado's legal week. Okay, so it's 2016, he dies in January, murdered in January because he changed his mind. This was in 2016. It's all Colorado with the legal weed. All the weed stuff we're still fighting, and we still are to this day. It still is not. It's still classified as a class 3 or whatever, class 1. I forget the different classes, federal, whatever. Get it off that list, people. Why is this taking so long? Because that's the power of the tobacco swamp. Okay, Trump's gonna get it off eventually, but he's got so many swamps. So they murder Scalia because he changed his mind and he was gonna reverse rote on this one. Okay, that's in my view. That's why he was murdered. He and I said, and when he was murdered, when they said, oh, he died of a heart attack, it was just like the Jason Aldean. As soon as I hear of a death, I know exactly what it was. It was like tobacco swamp and, tobacco swamp mass shooting. This one was tobacco swamp murdered him. Poison-induced heart attack because I had already written in 2015 in my law school stuff, and I'm sure he got that. I'm sure he got that case briefing, and he changed his mind on this. So anyway, and by the way, he was also a smoker. So yes, Justin was a regular smoker most of his adult life. He reportedly smoked Marlboro Lights. So here's the interesting thing: if you AI him, in addition to being a smoker, he had all these other things. And these health conditions likely contributed to his death from natural causes at age 79. So if you Google today, you don't even get the original death certificate, which isn't, we can't see it, said heart attack. That's what he died of. They're saying it's natural causes here. And this is Google AI for you. It's Google AI and Grok, it's all like, it's the modern Wikipedia where gay men are running stuff and where it's important. Now, you can get some good information that's solid, but most of the time, if it's something like this, they just go in and change history to whatever they want it to say. Okay? So now it doesn't even say, that other thing, did he die? So, whatever. Okay, let's get on. So, other poison-induced heart attacks by gay men. Scalia is not gay, but gay men tend to use this. Was Andrew Jackson, a gay redhead. They call him Jackass Jackson because he was a jackass, and he's the jackass is the founder of the Democratic Party. Here he is, a gay man. He murders his wife. He married her just to campaign for the presidency, and then just before he was inaugurated, he murdered her. Gays tend to explode at around Christmas time. They have a very difficult time dealing with the Mary Jesus dynamic. So if they're going to poison somebody, it's around Christmas time. You keep that in mind. Kelly and Whtiney Cummings, all you guys, if they're going to do anything, a lot of times it's around Christmas time, okay? So he murdered his wife. She died of a heart attack on December whatever, okay? And then 3 years later, he murdered his nemesis, John Marshall's wife. And they said, oh, she was sickly. And I remember distinctly 10 years ago, I'm writing about this 10 years ago, I'm writing about this stuff online. I'm saying all this. I'm saying this was murdered and whatever. I'm going on and on about the poisons, 2015, 2016, I forget. And it very distinctly said she died of a heart attack on Christmas Day. And now they're like, oh, well, and then, so I challenged Google. Because he said that Google tells me, no, it's false information. She did not die of a heart attack, is what Google says. And then if you challenge it, it changes its mind. Look, other places say John Marshall's wife died by a heart attack. I just said it was at the time. So Google comes back, well, some sources indicate she died of natural causes. And it's just like, Scalia, right? Some sources. What sources? It is plausible that a sudden event could have been the final cause of death, given her history. However, that the primary sources don't explicitly mention a heart attack. What primary sources all of a sudden changed? Like, the primary sources. Give me your freaking sources. And there she is, 1831 on Christmas Day, December 25th. Okay, very gay thing. It was Andrew Jackson. I'm positive. When I went through all this stuff, and then he also caused all sorts of problems. Okay. It's possible that information mentioning a heart attack may be based on more recent interpretations of historical records or anecdotal accounts, rather than go suck it. These guys, their AI is so stupid. Everybody's all into AI, and it's just a bunch of gay guys behind the Iron Curtain, like, the Wizard of Oz. They're just they're just losing control over stuff. She was murdered by Andrew Jackson with a heart-inducing poison, either cyanide or all these other things that I mentioned before, whatever it is, arsenic, cyanide. Okay. So another one. Now it wasn't a heart attack, but it was Klaus von Bülow, a gay man. Okay. He tried to poison his wife in December, okay, Christmas time again, of 79, and again, when it failed, in December of 1980. And then he goes on trial, and he's guilty because he tried to murder his wife. Okay, he tried to murder his beard. These closeted gay men and their beards, right? But and then he's convicted, and then it's overturned on weird technicalities by, guess who? It's by Alan Dershowitz. Okay, this is what made Alan Dershowitz famous, was getting Klaus von Bülow off, and he thought he was being such a great defense attorney when he's just a puppet for the gay Nazis, and he has been since, and he's involved in all this, he's involved in Epstein. So I'm just going full circle just for you, Whtiney Cummings. I hope you're watching this, because I just wanted to go full circle to Epstein for you. It's all about poisoning. So what's my next thing? Okay, I wanted to say, just to Whtiney Cummings, I'm not worried about, as I said, I'm worried more about poisoning. If somebody's trying to poison you. Now, I thought shootings I don't know why I'm thinking poisoning, because it just feels like I'm feeling like, just don't eat food that's handed to you by anybody, okay? Or just watch out for poisonings, especially not heart attack induced poisonings is more difficult. You have to be, maybe your heart is having a hard time. I'm not sure what you did on drugs, but I think aneurysms is what it is. Like, I think poisons that cause aneurysms. Watch out. Just don't eat anything that somebody offers you, is what I'm saying, especially around Christmas time. I'm just getting that out there, because I don't care about I don't care how Trump is ruining you just had a great set, you said, and it was coming out, and you were very proud of it recently, and now it might be all ruined because Epstein isn't coming out. You just seem very upset. I don't care about that. I just want you to stay alive, and if the reason you're upset is because you're getting death threats and things like that, then just watch out for poison. So I did all this stuff. I went through, I would say 12, 13 different Agatha Christie books. I'm marking out where she's gay. I'm marking out where he predicted Pearl Harbor before Pearl Harbor happened. Totally gay. I mean, that was amazing. And I have all these notes in there. It's just like my Bible work, But in May, at the end of May, because they're like trying to get me to go out on a crazy thing. Oh, if you go out to this crazy hospital, we'll let you out now. And I said, give me to the damn. I'm going to Van Nuys. Give me a trial. I'm not guilty. Speedy trial. And I keep saying speedy trial. I'm not guilty. I'm not crazy. I haven't even spoken to a psychiatrist. They're supposed to, when they deem you unfit for trial, at least speak to a psychiatrist first, even for 5 minutes. I never spoke to a psychiatrist. My own public defender, because I said not guilty, and they said, you got to plead guilty, you got to do this, you got to do that. I said, I'm not guilty, I want a speedy trial. It was a fake restraining order. I'm just telling them a million times. And I'm telling them this whole story, and they're saying, oh, well, we're going to send you to... the first one sent me there, and then the second one, they just constantly change public defenders. This is how the gay people act, and I've been through this a billion times. But I'm just telling you, all this work I did, I couldn't. They said, okay, we're moving you after 4 months in jail peacefully in the general what's that called? General. They send me over to the mental part of the. It was crazy over there. We had less freedom, an hour a day, all sorts of crazies in my cell. One tried to stab me. I mean, they're just trying to get me to get out of jail. But they said you have to go now and you can't take any books with you. So I lost all that information. I couldn't take all that. I had written on the books themselves. I was going to copy it out on a piece of paper. I never did. And they were going to let me take the books out. They were just this small. Oh my God, they were like really old, like they were falling apart, and like I don't think I'd be able to find them again. They were like originals from, like, they looked like they've been there since 1950. Nobody cared. They were small, and I was just going to take them with me. They said, I'm not allowed to take them with me. You have to leave in an hour. They gave me an hour warning, and I was just like, I was so pissed. So I lost all that work. And this is the letter I wrote in June to the judge. I was writing letters constantly. I wrote one a week to various. I wrote to my own public defender. I wrote to, and I'm putting it up here really fast because I put it up on X, and it was there, but that's all taken down now. So you can pause and read the letter I wrote. Court, ask her. Okay, I'm not sure. Whatever. Just I had better ones maybe, but that's the one I found when I was going through this stuff. So, in other words, that's in jail. It's my letter, and that's fine. I put it up here, and I lost all that stuff that I did on Agatha Christie. Okay, so I solved the Wordle this morning, and I did my little video I showed you, and then I get to work, no problem. And what happened? All of a sudden, you guys remember what happened in my last videos over the last week up here. There's a couple of things. Like I told you that I get a lot of information from Lowe's, right? I was doing the tobacco swamp it came up, and then I was talking about this in my videos. I was saying, okay, the tobacco swamp is weaker, baby girl. I was talking to Kelly, and I said I think there's a lesser chance of a mass shooting, and I was basing this off of the Lowe's radio and how many times they played cigarette ads since last September. Well, guess what happens when I go into work? No more Lowe's radio. Like, now it's completely different. I mean, no more regular Lowe's radio. Now we're going to 1970s. Well, look at this stuff. I mean, I love it, but after whatever, 10 months or whatever I've been there, anyway, oh, here we go. Let's go in. So, oh, wait, before we do this, here's another muse of mine. Oh, this was today. On Mondays, we do Safety with Hank. Now, it's a little bit of comedic relief here because Mondays is Safety with Hank, and he always does the dad jokes. So I'm just going to do this real fast. I'm going to tell you, Hank, if you're paying attention, obviously I can't do that anymore on the X account. It's gone, all those dad jokes, but I will make a video maybe sometime because I'm no longer trying to separate my Lowe's from here. I don't care. I work at Lowe's, everybody. Fire me. I need to get this information out, okay? I really love my job. I'm trying everything I can not to be fired, but I'm not going to be silent about the stuff going on today, especially the death of my good receiving friend in the morning, Okay, so what does an escalator say when it stops working? Nothing. It just stares. It just stares. It just stares. What does an escalator say when it stops working? Nothing. It just stares. He's so funny. Okay, so that was the dad joke for today. I've got them all. I'll put a video out of that. But in the meantime, let's see what was going on. We've got Fleetwood Mac, Sad Eyes, The Girl Is Mine, Michael Jackson, Longer, Dan Fogelberg, Dan Hill, America, Chicago. I mean, I think it's 70s. It's great stuff, I mean, Mexico. You guys might recognize this. This is the new Lowe's radio now. Now, I think it's just whoever the director, the new. All right, so that's what's going on. Something changes a little bit, but it's more than that. Okay, it's like okay, but then okay. So let's go through this a little bit. Let's go through what I discussed last weekend. I discussed booth security. I said there was a. I don't have it, but I took a picture of these 3 black guys. They were supposed to be they're from Kansas City. They were doing security at the Coliseum at Caesar's Palace in Las Vegas for the Kelly Clarkson show. And I said, okay, I don't trust Kansas City, but when I looked it up, it was these 3 black dudes, and I said, oh, I trust black dudes, whatever. I mean, they're not, I trust black dudes in general. I always relate to them better than anybody else usually. I feel like I relate to them better than any other race or anything else. It's just the black dudes. I don't know why. That's just the way it's been since I was a kid. Grew up in Long Beach, a lot of black people around at my school and everything, and the black dudes, just in general. And the other people I trusted. Now, if you remember, what the heck happened here? This stuff. Oh, another thing that played on, another thing was I had a whole running thing on my X account about Valerie. Now, Lowe's Radio started playing Valerie just very recently, and I laughed. I said, oh, my Lowe's Radio muses. And I went on and on about my favorite manager from Target. Her name was Valerie, and how Kelly sang about her in her opening. I mean, I had this whole thing, and I love Valerie, but I said, Target was more gay than Walmart in a lot of ways, and I saw it coming that when the tobacco and all these different swamps started to implode, I predicted the Walmart stock would do much better than Target, even though they were all the same up to there and they did the same thing. I said there's going to reach a point where Target is where Walmart is going to survive all this stuff, the tariffs, the not as much getting their product from slave labor in China. Also, Target was almost 100% based on advertising cigarettes, like to younger audiences, and their radio, like get all the younger crowd in and then advertise cigarettes to them, and that's like their whole, business model just about. So that's going to crash when tobacco crashes, which happened. Walmart, they sell cigarettes and blah, 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 and they do play the cigarette ads, but they have so many other things going on, and they are really into just selling stuff at the cheapest as possible. They weren't into so I didn't want to get into details, but I did say Valerie came in, she was Hispanic, and I said, not only do our Hispanics, I was into Hispanic women, I thought she was the best manager I ever had, I trust Hispanics, and I especially recently said, for security, I said, trust the Hispanic lesbians. Remember? I did all this in just the last week. I said Hispanic, Hispanic, Hispanic. Okay, then I went into, a long time ago, I talked about Home Depot versus Lowe's. It's the same thing. I said, it's feeling the same way. It's feeling like Lowe's is like Target, and Home Depot is more like Walmart, meaning I think when the religion swamp and some of these swamps start to implode, and when the tariffs start to hit, I think it's going to separate out. And I think Lowe's is going to start to dip. They need to get rid of. I just felt like it was more gay, and I have a lot of reasons why. But I said, I'm not going to tell you guys because I want to keep my job, and I'm just not going to mention all the little specifics why it's more gay and needs to be more purged of their gays. That's the only solution, people. I'm not going to give you well, you have to do this and then you have to do that. You just have to purge. There's too many gays there in charge, and you can tell what the gay stuff is going on. Like you'd say, oh, that's so gay, that's so gay, that's so gay. And it's just, that's all I'm going to say because I didn't want to say anything about it. So Valerie comes in until now. Okay, I'm going to say what's going on until now. So let's just go back. So that's what I said. I said there was 3 black guys. I said a couple things like I said, if the gay Nazis don't get what they want, they always retaliate. They will retaliate so hard, like the floods, like Trump brought in an act that he wanted, and then they brought in the floods. But he was ahead of that. That's a retaliation. They don't get what they want. It's always some kind of violent retaliation and this kind of thing. And that's every one of them. It's so, and I say, just purge the gays. Just purge the gays. As soon as you purge one. When I was at Target, I didn't mention this before. I came in and there was like my immediate boss manager guy that Valerie replaced. I said, oh, I'm in trouble. This guy's gay. He's a jerk. He's after me. And she came in and replaced him. But the day that he left, like they sent him elsewhere. And I said, thank God. I don't know if they fired him or what. I didn't care. I was just there a week or two. And the day he's coming in, we're coming in at 4 a.m, chalk all over the Target. We had to call the police, like, all this stuff, I hate you, whore, bitch, blah, blah, blah. I think he's talking about the second, like our human resources lady, Hispanic girl. And it's like, oh, I don't know who did that. Like this guy, I knew exactly. That was him and his little gay buddies retaliating for him getting booted. It was like written all over in chalk, and before it opened, it was 4 a.m, so we had to come out and wipe it all down. But somebody came and did graffiti in chalk and did all this and threats and horror. And while he's standing there, we're all standing there waiting to get in at 4 o'clock to unload the trucks. And he's going, wow, this is so bad. Well, it's blah, blah, blah. And it was because that was his last day. Okay, and this to me was so gay, and I'm so used to that. I'm used to that, and there's so many examples of this. When they're fired, or when you try to purge them, or when you don't do exactly what they want, there's always some kind of retaliation, and it's so hard to go up against that. And that's why I was so happy to see the WNBA. I'm saying, don't play Coulson. She is a game rigger, and the game riggers are coming after you. And when they don't do that, I'm sure they're getting. But they're holding out, and now they're doing okay. But I mean, it takes a lot to hold out against when the gays don't get their way. That's what, like Kelly right now. Kesha went independent, and then you see her, the first thing she's doing, see my show, and she's there smoking cigarettes. Okay, Kelly went independent, they want her to do cigarettes, and she refuses to do it, so they're tanking her all over the place. They're still doing this. So Kesha, oh, she's doing great, and blah, 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 because she's smoking cigarettes all over the place. Kelly refused, and they're trying to tank her show, they might even try a shooting there, whatever it is. Okay, retaliation. Hold the line, because this stuff worked in the past, but every time you hold the line, they're getting weaker and weaker now. So they can't do it. So hold the line, Whtiney Cummings. Hold the line. The religion swamp is starting to fall. If you're getting pressure from them to do this or do that, just don't go. Just don't do the stand up. Just don't do it. Hold the line because it's making them weak. They're getting exposed. The WNBA, I said, hold the line. They're rigging the balls. Keep shooting, and then they're just getting weaker, and then it breaks. And it's happening right now all over the place. Okay, hold the line. So this is what happens. I said the black guys were my favorite. I said they retaliate. And I said Lowe's has a lot of gay people around, and they need to purge, but I'm not going to do any more specifics than that. I'm not going to say what all the stuff is. And what else did I say? I said 3 black guys. I trust Hispanic women. Lowe's radio, Muse, the cigarette songs. Target was more infested. Gay men retaliate. Okay, so I said all this, and guess what? I come in this morning. Here I come. And I'm taking my little. I wanted to tell you guys today that that the radio changed, and I thought that was because of me. I thought that was. But another thing happened. Guess what happened? Our store director, since I was starting to work there, was closeted gay. Okay, I just didn't want to say that. And also also the Target store that I was in, that I'm telling you about right now, that store director, closeted gay, and all sorts of problems from that. At Walmart, a black guy who wasn't gay. I trusted that guy so much. And he had to fire me, but he didn't want to, and it was from somebody above his head. So I trust him. I still trust him now. I'm sure if he knows the truth about what's going on, he's going to. But, okay, so this is just a small smidgen of it. But I didn't want to say this. I want to keep my job. He's fine. I don't know. He shows me a picture of his, is also the other thing I also mentioned was, I didn't say it was him, but I said, you get these gay guys, these gay white guys, and then they show you pictures of their black wives. They're closeted, but they have a black wife or they have a half black kid. And he was showing me pictures of his, I thought if they feel it these guys were nobody liked him. Nobody liked him that much. I don't think he was that good. I think he was overrated. Now that he's moved out of there. I mean, thank God. I don't know. A lot of people didn't like him there. I thought he was, for many reasons, and I discussed it with Human Resources. Okay, all this has been discussed with Human Resources. If anybody wants to know, not just him, but I was having problems very early on, and I just didn't want to be fired. So I said, this is defensive complaint. I'm not complaining. This is if somebody else complains about me ahead of time. I'm telling you. And all this stuff is out, and go see Human Resources at Lowe's if you want to know what I was saying about this stuff. Okay, but he's gone. And the person replacing him is a Hispanic female, okay? And I had just found this out. Today was her first day. And today was her first day. And the very first thing that happens on her first day is a black guy, Sam Brown. This guy, he's in receiving. I know him. I talk to him every day. We see him every day. There isn't it's not a big crowd of people. Massive heart attack when we first came in is on her first day. That was retaliation. That was poison-induced heart attack. And it's a black guy, and I think it had to do with me talking about black guys, that I trust them. And this guy I would trust 100%. He was a good guy, okay, guys? So somebody go and, I don't know, I'm not going to do anything other than post this video. Okay, because I might get fired, but at least they're not going to be able to do it again and again. You just keep doing this. I think it was induced by everything I'm talking about. His name was Samuel Brown. Is that here? Yeah, I took a picture. His name was on the phone, and I just wanted to make sure I got his name right. But I mean, I knew it's just Sam. All right. So a couple of things that were funny. Okay, so it was me. It was 3 guys who discovered him, but it was in the male bathroom. Okay, so I didn't go in there. But 3 guys kind of discovered him, and one guy thought he was dead right away, but one guy later said he felt the pulse and he's alive. Or when the paramedics came, he was still alive, or they felt the pulse. And then the 3rd guy can't get the timing right. And I'm just telling you, I kind of believe the stories are not right. It just, everything sounds kind of funny the way it happened. And I think it could have been poison, and I think they should do an autopsy on him. And that's all I'm saying. And I think you're 3 black guys from Kansas City, please, if you want to get involved, come in and interview exactly how this happened and when he died. You have to establish the time of death and do a toxicology looking for heart attack inducing. I mean, it should be anytime somebody dies of a massive heart attack. Oh, by the way, I came in and the one guy who said, oh, he was dead, I'm not going to touch him. He was dead. When he saw him, he didn't look for a pulse, but I did the same thing. I found, I mean, he said he found his mother before and he could tell she was dead immediately. So he said dead, and then he went on and then this is my coworker. Anyway, I'm not going to get into it too much, but that was very upsetting today because later they announced everybody in this room and then they announced he was dead when I thought they should have probably announced he was dead on the scene. I thought that was strange because, and the thing is, I'm not sure how long he was there, and it's just a very weird kind of scenario how he was found but not found, but they couldn't, and then, so anyway, it just seemed funny. Just look into it. There's a possibility, and just that there was foul play, and that it had to do with sending me a message, and it had to do with retaliation because this gay guy left Friday. We get a new store director who's an Hispanic woman, and then all of a sudden this guy's dead. Black guy, my good friend, not a good friend, but you say hi to him every day, and he's on the. He comes in at 4 every day, and we come in at 5 every day. Okay, the third thing was the one of the 3 guys who found him, he never comes in at 5. He usually comes in later. This was the only day. You got to check it. So you have to check how many guys die of a massive heart attack while working at Lowe's. How many guys come in it's all statistical. It's just not statistically. There's something funny. It's not coincidental. Okay, that's all. And that's it for today. Godspeed. And for you, Whtiney Cummings, just, as I said, I don't care about your art this year, and Kelly either. She's doing a fine job, and I kind of do, but just if you have a choice, just try to stay safe and use your instincts. And, you're smart. You'll be able to figure it out. Okay? And I hope you're going to be all right. Bye. Living my best life. I still am. And Godspeed to everybody coming out the other side in one piece. That's PIEC and PEAC. And come talk to me sometime. Rest in peace, Sam Brown. Good guy, by the way. Like, a good guy. He was very quiet, but he was just solid worker. And anytime I needed help, he was right there. Anytime a customer needed help, I could get him. And he did the wood. He did the forklift. He did the lumber. And this is this is the first thing that her first day on the job as store director, this Hispanic lady. Anyway, first day she's dealing with this. Anyway, bye.